Now that we understand what an equivalence relation is, let us discuss another topic, which is equivalence class. Equivalence class. So equivalence class of X is denoted by this symbol, right? So if I want you to write equivalence class of an element, then I will write that element like this. What I mean is, okay, let me first of all define it formally, but if you don't understand it, you don't have to worry about it, because I'll give you enough number of examples to understand this equivalence class. This is a very simple concept. Give me 5 minutes, pay attention for these 5 minutes, and you will be through with this topic. So it is defined as y such that y belongs to set A and x comma y belong to this relation R. Okay, so I am talking about equivalence class of X. So it is defined as set of y such that y belongs to A and X is related to y. Okay, so okay, let me first of all write set A 1 2 3. Okay, and what is relation R? Relation R is a subset of Cartesian product of A and A, right? This is something what we have studied in the last lecture also. So if I write a relation, first of all, to discuss equivalence class, I should have an equivalence relation. Okay, only in that case I'll be able to discuss this topic, otherwise this has no meaning. So first of all, write a relation which is equivalence relation. So for a relation to be an equivalence relation, it should be reflexive, symmetric, as well as transitive. So for it to be reflexive, when I'm defining this relation in set A, I'll have elements 1 1, 2 2, 3 3 for sure, right? Because it is reflexive, and it has to be symmetric. So let me take two elements like this, 1 2 and 2 1, and that's it. So I've selected this relation. Now this relation is reflexive because I have got all the doublets of elements that are present in A. It is symmetric because I have got 1 2 as well as 2 1. Okay, the presence of 1 2 ensures the presence of 2 1. Now what about it being transitive? So 1 2 is there, 2 1 is there, that means 1 1 should be also there, so it is there. Yes, so it is transitive also. So yes, I can say that this relation that I have chosen, it is an equivalence relation. Now I'll be able to talk about equivalence class. So if I want to talk about equivalence class of 1, right? So I'll be looking for all the elements that 1 is related to. So 1 will definitely be related to 1, because this relation that we have chosen is an equivalence relation, so it has to be reflexive. If it has to be reflexive, the element will definitely be related with itself. So equivalence class of 1 will have 1 definitely. What else? 1 is also related to 2, so it will have 2 also. That's it. So this is equivalence class of this element 1. Now what about equivalence class of 2? So it will definitely have 2 in it because it is reflexive, so 2 will definitely be related with 2, or 2 will definitely be related with itself. Now what other element will it be related to? It will be related to 1 also, because 1 is related to 2, right? So 2 will definitely be related to 1, which can be seen from here also, right? 2 is related to 2, 2 is related to 1. And why is it related to 1? Because 1 is related to 2 and it has to be symmetric. So this is equivalence class of 2. What is equivalence class of 3? It has got elements 3 and what else? That's it. 3 is related to itself, right? There is no other element in this relation with which 3 is related to. So this is the equivalence class of 3. So this is how easy it is. Now this set, and this set, these are essentially the same sets, right? Because the order in which the elements are written in a set doesn't matter. So if you write 1 comma 2 or 2 comma 1, we are referring to the same set, right? So one of the sets is this, right, and another set is this, that we have got as equivalence class of these elements. Now these two sets are also known as partitions. Another name is subdivisions, right? So these two sets are known as partitions or subdivisions. Now these are not two separate partitions, so I've written this as one partition. Okay, so if it is P1 partition 1, this is partition 2. You will notice that there will be no common element in these two partitions. That is the essence of it being a partition, because these will not have any common element in them. Okay, then if they had common elements, then these would not have been the partitions. Okay, so what I mean to say is, if I take the intersection of these two sets P1 and P2, it will be an empty set. There will be no common element in these two partitions. Or if I had got any number of partitions P1, P2, P3, Pk, there cannot be common element in those partitions. And if I take union of these partitions, it will give me the set A back. Set A. What was set A? Set A had 1, 2 and 3 as its elements. So if you take union of these partitions, it will give you set A. It will give you set A. Okay, so union of partitions will give you set A back, and intersection of subdivisions or partitions will be an empty set. Okay, I hope you got this idea. So for equivalence class, the first thing I said was, to discuss equivalence class, the relation should be equivalence relation. So we can discuss about equivalence classes only if the relation is in equivalence. So the relation should be reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive for me to be able to discuss about equivalence classes. And what are equivalence classes? It is the set of elements that this element is related to under this relation, right? So formally we defined it like this. How did we define it formally? That if I want to find equivalence class of an element X, it is denoted by this, and it is equal to a set of all y's such that y belongs to A and X and Y are related under this relation R, right? And this relation R is definitely an equivalence relation. I hope you have understood this topic, and this is a pretty simple topic. So if the question is asked about this relation that I selected, what is the number of partitions? It is 2, right? It is not 3. I have got 2 partitions, right? And if a question is, let me take another relation. Let me take set A as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let me write another relation R and ask you these questions. So I am writing another relation R. So obviously R will have some ordered pairs where the first entry will be from A, second entry will also be from A, right? We know that R is a subset of A cross A, that is R is a subset of the Cartesian product of A with itself. I have explained it so many times that you would be comfortable with this idea now. And this relation, because I need to talk about equivalence class, so I have to select such a relation which is an equivalence relation. So for it to be an equivalence relation, it should satisfy the property of reflexivity, right? It should be reflexive For it to be reflexive, every element of A should have a doublet in this relation. So 1 1 will definitely be there, 2 2 will definitely be there, 3 3 will definitely be there, 4 4 and 5 5. Now this relation is reflexive. For it to be symmetric, let me take some more elements. Otherwise, this relation which you see on the screen right now, it is also a symmetric relation as well as transitive relation. So even if I leave it here, it is also an equivalence relation. We can discuss about this relation also, right? Equivalence class of this, and if you notice, equivalence class of 1 will have only one element, that is 1 itself. Equivalence class of 2 will have only one element, that is 2. Similarly for 3, 4 and 5, these will have the same element, that is itself, right? So how many partitions are there? These are 5 partitions. So how many total number of partitions are there? It is equal to the number of elements of set A, right? So total number of partitions is 5 in this case, and if number of elements in set A would have been let us say n, then the number of partitions of such a set where only doublets are there would have been n, number of partitions. So this is the maximum number of partitions that we can have for a given relation in A, right? For maximum partitions, I will have only doublets in this relation. I hope you understood the point I am trying to make, but let me discuss something more. Give me a moment, let me clear this space, then we will discuss. See, what I meant was, to discuss equivalence class, the first thing required is that the relation should be equivalence relation. And I have taken these 5 doublets here. I am selecting some more elements like 1, 3, 3, 4, 1, 4, and I am also selecting 3, 1, 4, 3, 3, 1, 4, 3, 4, 1. Now give me a moment just to check whether I have, let us check whether it is reflexive, symmetric and transitive. So for it to be reflexive, the 5 doublets should be there, 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4 5 5. So yes, these are there. To check about the symmetry, or for it to be symmetric, I don't have to worry about these 5 ordered pairs. 1 3 is there, so 3 1 should be there. 3 4 is there, so 4 3 should be there. 1 4 is there, so 4 1 should be there. So yes, it is symmetric. Let us check about transitivity. 1 3 is there, 3 1 is there, so 1 1 should be there. So yes, it is there. 3 4 is there and 4 3 is there, so 3 3 should be there. So it is very well present. 3 4 is there, 4 1 is there, so 3 1 should be present. So yes, it is there, right? 1 4 is present, 4 3 is present, so 1 3 should be present. So yes, it is present. What else? 3 1 1 3, yes, we have checked it. 4 3 3 4, okay. 4 3 3 1, so 4 1 is present, yes. 4 1 1 4, so 4 4 is present. 4 1 1 3, so 4 3 is present. Yes, this relation we have selected is an equivalence relation. Now let us talk about its subdivisions or partitions. So the equivalence class of 1 is, to what elements 1 is related to in this equivalence relation? It is related with 1, it is related with 3, it is related with 4. That's it. This is the equivalence class of this element 1. So what about equivalence class of 2? So it is definitely related with 2, and 2 is related to nothing else. So this is the equivalence class of 2. Equivalence class of 3 will be, so it will definitely have 3 in it. Apart from 3, it is related with 4, and it is related with 1. What else? Nothing else, right? And equivalence class of 4 will have 4 in it for sure. Apart from 4, it has got 3 because it is related with 3, and that's it. And it is related with 1 also, so it will have 1 in it. Okay. What about equivalence class of 5? It will have only one element, that is 5 itself, right? So these are the equivalence classes of 1, 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 5. Now what about partitions? How many partitions are there? For that we need to select the distinct sets. For example, this set has got 1, 3, 4. This set also has got 1, 3, 4 written in different order, but because order doesn't matter, so these two are essentially the same sets, and this is exactly the same set 1, 3, 4. So one of the partitions, if I write it as P1, is 1, 3, 4. This is one of the partitions. Another partition that I've got, or subdivision, partition or subdivision, right? Another subdivision is this, that is 2, and third subdivision is this 5. So how many partitions or subdivision do I have in this equivalence relation? I've got 3 partitions or subdivisions. If you take union of these, you will get your set A back. You can clearly see set A has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you take union of P1, P2, P3, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and there is no common element in P1, P2 and P3, right? We talked about maximum number of partitions possible. Maximum number of partitions will be possible for a relation in A when it has got all the doublets, that is 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Then there will be 5 number of partitions. What will be minimum number of partitions? If relation in A has got all the element, that is, it is universal relation, so it is A cross A. So if you write A cross A, if you write A cross A, 1 will be related with 2, 3, 4, 5, every element, right? So equivalence class of 1 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Equivalence class of 2 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So every element will have same equivalence class, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I talk about number of partitions, that will have minimum number of partitions, that is 1, right? Which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So I'll have minimum number of partition for a relation in A if it has got all the elements of Cartesian product of A with A. I'll have this was minimum number, right? I'll have maximum number of partitions for a relation in A if it has got all the doublets only. For example, for this 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5 for this set, right? This is an equivalence relation. And one more thing, that we can go reverse also. What do I mean? If you are given the partitions, you can find this relation. For example, in this particular relation, we got partitions 1, 3, 4, this set containing 2, this set containing 5. So we got these 3 partitions, right? Now if I am given only these 3 partitions and I want to go back to that relation, okay, I want to find what was the relation originally, what was the equivalence relation. So how can I find it? You can, if you are given these partitions, you can find that relation by taking Cartesian product of this with itself. So if I take Cartesian product of this set 1, 3, 4 with itself, it will give me elements 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 4, right? 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 4. Then 3, 1, 3, 3, 3, 4. So 3, 1, 3, 3, 3, 4. Then 4, 1, 4, 3, 4, 4. 4, 1, 4, 3. Where is 4, 3? 4, 3, 4, 4. And Cartesian product of this set with itself will give me 2, 2. So this is the element. Cartesian product of this set with itself will give me 5, 5. So this will be the element. If you notice, I've underlined all the elements. So I'll be able to obtain the equivalence relation if I am given the partitions only. So if I am given the partitions, every partition is a set, right? So the Cartesian product of this set with itself will give me the, for example, I got these three sets as my partitions. So if I take Cartesian product of this with itself, it will give me how many elements? It will give me this element 1 1 1 3 1 4 3 1 3 3 3 4. So it will give me total 9 elements, right? When I take Cartesian product of this set with itself, it will give me one element 2 2, right? When I take Cartesian product of this with itself, it will give me 5 5. So I've got all of these elements here in this relation. So I can go back, if I'm given partitions, I can find this relation. And obviously the union of all of these partitions will give me this set A, okay, and intersection will give me an empty set as there is no common element. I hope I've been able to explain about equivalence class to you. Now let me take two examples that are left in this exercise, and then we will proceed to the exercise itself. Show that the relation R in set of integers given by a comma b 2 divides a minus b is an equivalence relation. So for it to be an equivalence relation, it should be reflexive, symmetric, as well as transitive. For it to be reflexive, first of all, let's work on if it is reflexive or not. So for it to be reflexive, all the elements, all the ordered pairs of this type should be present such that A belongs to, for all A belonging to A, this doublet should be present in the relation. What do I mean is that A comma B is such that 2 divides A minus B. So what about A comma A? I can say 2 divides A minus A, which is 0, right? So that means A comma A is present for all A belonging to the set A, that is set of integers. What I mean is the difference of, we are talking about integers. If an integer is subtracted from itself, it will give you 0, and 0 is definitely divisible by 2. So 5 minus 5, 6 minus 6. So A comma A is present here. So it is a reflexive relation. What about it being symmetric? So if AB belongs to relation R, that should imply that BA belongs to R, right? For AB belonging to this set A. Now A minus B is divisible, 2 divides A minus B. That means A minus B is 2 into something, right? 2 into some integer. Now can I say B minus A is also 2 into something, 2 into minus m, let us say, right? So because this is just the negative of this, right? So A minus B is 2m, so B minus A will be minus 2m. So I can write it like this. That means B minus A is also divisible by 2. This means 2 divides B minus A. Or in other words, mathematically I can say AB is present in this relation. That implies BA is also present in this relation. So this implies that this relation is symmetric. So I have checked two of the things, that it is reflexive because every integer when subtracted from itself will give me 0, and 2 divides 0. And if A minus B is divisible by 2, then B minus A will also be divisible by 2, right? I can club this. These two things I have already seen. Now let us talk about transitivity. So let me erase this. I have already proven it to be reflexive and symmetric. Let me work on the transitive portion now. So A minus B, let us say, is 2m. That means A minus B is divisible by 2, or 2 divides A minus B. And B minus C is also divisible by 2, so let it be equal to 2 into n. Okay, so if A comma B belongs to R and B comma C belongs to R. So I have selected integers A and B such that their difference is divisible by 2, and B and C such that their difference is also divisible by 2. So does this imply that difference of A and C or A minus C is also divisible by 2, 2 into something, because if A and B belongs to R, if A comma B belongs to R, B comma C belongs to R, then this should imply that A comma C belongs to R for it to be transitive. Now let us check. So if these two are given, if you add these, what will happen? A minus B plus B minus C. So B will be cancelled. A minus C will be equal to, this will imply, if I am adding these, A minus C will be equal to 2 into M plus N. So 2 divides A minus C. So 2 divides A minus C is true. So yes, presence of A comma B and B comma C implies the presence of A comma C in the relation. That means this relation is transitive. And I've shown you that relation is reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive. Hence it is an equivalence relation. Okay, this was a simple question. Now let us look at this one. Okay, we will solve this question in this lecture. After that, the next set of questions we will solve in the next lecture. Let R be the relation defined in a set, this is set A, by A comma B. Both A and B are either odd or even. Okay, so if I want to write one of the elements of this relation R, one of the ordered pairs, both A and B should be either odd or even. So if I am writing 1, 1 will be related to 3, right? So both odd. 1 will be related to 5, 1 will not be related to 4, 1 will be related to 7. So these are 3 elements I have written for 1 here, right? 1 as being my first entry, it will be related to 3, 5 and 7 only. So what about 2? 2 will be related to 4. 2 will not be related to 3 or 1. 2 will be related to 6. 2 will not be related to anything else. So if I have got an even number here, I'll have to have an even number here as per this rule here for them to be in this relation R. Show that R is an equivalence. This is still not complete relation R. Okay, this is still not the complete. Let me write the complete relation first. So 2 is related with 6. Now what about 3? 3 is related with 1. 3 is related with, obviously I have missed some of the elements. Let me show you why I am saying it. 3 is obviously related with itself, right? 3 is related with 5. 3 is related with 7. So what I have left here is 1 is also related with itself, right? And 2 is also related with itself. 3 is related with itself. Now what about 4? 4 is related with itself. Then 4 is related with 2. 4 is related with 6, right? What about 5? With itself. Then 1, 3 and 7. What about 6? 6 will be related with itself, with 2, with 4. So I am writing, so every ordered pair I am writing, at both the places I am writing odd numbers, or at both the places I am writing even numbers. That is what this relation is all about. 6, 6, 6, 2, 6, 4. What about 7? 7 is related with itself. It is related with 1. It is related with 3. It is related with 5. Okay. So I have written this relation R, although we are not supposed to write this relation, but I wrote it just for my clarity. So show that R is an equivalence relation. For it to be an equivalence relation, it should be reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive. So what about reflexive? If you talk about reflexivity, so every element of set A should have a doublet present in this relation. That is 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. For these all should be present. So are these present? Yes. Because first of all, let me show it physically to you. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, then 5, 5, 6, 6 and 7, 7. Now let me explain it theoretically. Why would all of these doublets be present? Because what is the relation? That A and B are either odd or even, right? So if I write 1, then 1 will definitely be related with 1 because both of these are odd, right? So every element of set A will be related with itself under this relation, right? So if there is an even number of this set A, it will definitely be related with itself, because both of these are even. So this shows me that this relation is reflexive. What about symmetric? Is this symmetric? So if 1 3 is present, then 3 1 will definitely be present. So presence of 1 comma 3 implies the presence of 3 comma 1. Why? Because if this first and second entry is both odd numbers, 1 is related with 3, so 3 will definitely be related with 1, right? Because 3 has to be related with all the odd numbers present here. So if 1 comma 3 is present, 3 comma 1 will also be present. And what about transitivity? Transitive. In symmetry, what I said is 1 and 3 are odd. The presence of 1 comma 3 in this ordered pair means 1 and 3 both are odd. So can I say 3 and 1 both are odd? So yes. So 3 1 will also be present here. That is, this relation is symmetric. What about transitivity? If 1 comma 3, 1 and 3 are odd, 3 and 5 are odd, definitely 1 and 5 will be odd. So presence of these two will imply the presence of 1 5, right? So if A and B are odd, B and C are odd, if these belong to the relation, then definitely it will imply that A and C are odd. What I mean is A, B are odd, B and C are odd. So A and C will definitely be odd. So these are present here in this relation. So this relation is transitive also. That means, and you can see these elements also, but that will take a lot of time. So you have to mention it theoretically that these presence of A, B means A is related with an odd number B. B is an odd number which is related with an odd number C. So if A and B are odd, B and C are odd, then A and C are also odd. So these are also related under this relation. That means this is a transitive relation. So you show it theoretically. Otherwise, if you check each and every element, it will take you a lot of time. 1 3 3 1, then 1 1, 1 3, then 3 5, then 1 5. So it will take you a lot of time. You can do that also, but that is going to consume a lot of time. So first part of this question is over. Further, show that elements of subset 1 3 5 7 are related to each other, and all the elements of this subset are related to each other, but no element. Now let me show it using the equivalence class. So if you want to write the equivalence class of this element 1, what will be the equivalence class? It will definitely have 1 in it, because this is an equivalence relation. So 1 will definitely be related with itself for it to be reflexive, right? So 1 3 5 and 7. So this will be the equivalence class of this element 1. What about equivalence class of 2? It will be related with itself, then 4, then 6. 3 will be related with itself, 1 5 7. 4 will be related with itself, 2 6. And equivalence class of 5 will have 5 itself, 1 3 7. What else? That's it. Equivalence class of 6 will have itself, 2 4, and that's it. There is no other even number, right? 2 4 6. What about equivalence class of 7? It will be itself, 1 3 5, right? Now if you talk about partitions, how many partitions will be there? So see this set, this is 1 3 5 7. This has got elements 1 3 5 7. This has got 1 3 5 7. This has got 1 3 5 7. This has got 1 3 5 7. So this is one of the partitions, 1 3 5 7, containing the elements 1 3 5 7. What about another partition? Let us look at this, 2 4 6 2 4 6 2 4 6. So this is another partition which has got 2 4 and 6 as its elements. What about another partition that we have? See, have we got any other partition left? I think no. So this is covered, this is covered, this is covered, this is covered, and 2 4 6 2 4 6 2 4 6. So these are the two partitions possible. Now see, there will be no common element in partition 1 and partition 2. This is something we know, right? and the union of these partitions will give me the set A back. So yes, no element of this set is related to element of any element of this set, and vice versa, right? What else did we want to show? That all the elements of this set are related with each other. So obviously yes, because if that we talked about in the end of our introduction, we talked about if you want to find the relation using these partitions, what you need to do is you need the Cartesian product of this set with itself. So every element of this will be related with itself. 2 will be related with 2, 2 will be related with 4 and 6, because both are even. Similarly, 1 will be related with 3, 5 and 7. Similarly, 3 will be related with 1, and this is something we have shown here also. Right? I hope if you have listened to my equivalence class lecture carefully, you know what I am trying to convey here. Okay, I hope this lecture gives you some clarity about equivalence relation, equivalence class, etc. And in the next lecture, we will start the exercise 1.1 of relations and function class 12.